The movie starts off with what seems to be a fight breaking out in a car. Riley North is engaged in a knife battle with a mobster who stabs her in the leg. She wins control and puts a gun to his head. Riley asks him whether he remembers her, but all he says is "fuck you" before Riley blasts his mind. In order to conceal, Riley goes to a poor neighborhood. She goes inside her van, where she takes care of her leg wound and drinks. As she searches through her possessions, a box of Girl Scout cookies falls out. 5 years prior, Riley was with her daughter Carly after getting into a fight with the mother of another Girl Scout, Peg, who complained to Riley that they were selling on their property. In this flashback, Riley was with Carly at the time. Later, Riley and Carly make a pit stop to see Chris, who is Riley's husband and Carly's father. Unbeknownst to Riley, Mickey and Chris are working on some sort of nefarious arrangement. Even though it is Carly's birthday, Riley is instructed to close her bank when she reports for duty. When Riley returns home for Carly's birthday celebration, she and Chris are upset that no one showed up since Peg, who had sarcastically thrown a holiday party and invited all the other kids, just left a message to tease Riley and Carly, had invited all the other kids. They should all go to the Christmas festival, Riley offers, because she doesn't want to let Carly stay depressed. Chris phones Mickey as they leave to inform him that he is pulling out of the agreement. The family departs while being observed by a gangbanger. Diego Garcia, the cartel's head, is called by his boss. Mickey, who is evidently attempting to steal from Garcia with Chris's assistance, is currently being tortured by Garcia. Just before decapitating Mickey, Garcia tells his man to follow Chris. The North family has a good time at the carnival and finishes the evening with ice cream. 3 gangbangers pull up to Chris and Carly as they are returning to the car and shoot them. Riley is shot as well, but she makes it to her husband and daughter's body. Riley encounters Detective Stan Carmichael after awakening in the hospital. He shows Riley the photos she took with Chris and Carly at the photo booth and informs Riley that the culprits have been caught. Riley is utilized to locate the gangbangers. Due to their facial tattoos, she can identify all 3 of them. Riley later receives a visit from Henderson, an attorney, who tries to buy Riley into withdrawing her evidence against the criminals he is defending as she is packing away Chris and Carly's belongings. Riley is taking some medication, which he also discovers, but she ejects him from her home. Riley is called to the stand to provide evidence against the gangbangers, but Henderson tries to use the medicine situation against her by claiming that her memory was foggy or that she was mentally unfit to recall them. Judge James Stevens dismisses Riley's appeal and frees the murderers. When Riley loses her cool and tries to fight the gangbangers, the bailiff tases her, and the murderers laugh in her face. Carmichael jumps into the ambulance to accompany Riley as she is being transported away to a mental hospital, but Riley grabs an oxygen tank, hits Carmichael across the head, and then exits the vehicle, dissipating. The bodies of the 3 murderers are discovered today by Carmichael and his accomplice Moises Beltran hanging from a Ferris wheel. After bashing Judge Stevens and pinning his hands to the table, Riley goes to his house and ties him up. He is reminded of her, and she warns him that the explosive rope he is bound with is. Stevens is destroyed when Riley detonates the rope before getting on a bus. Riley encounters a little child on the bus and offers him a toy that she stole from Stevens' house. As they exit the bus, the boy's father walks inside a booze store while his son waits outside, and she realizes that he is intoxicated. Since she saw his ID and remembered his address, Riley pistol whips the man and warns him to never drink alcohol again and to be a good father, or she will find him. The clerk is eventually coerced into giving it to her, but at least she pays him for it. Since it is the 5th anniversary of the murders of Chris and Carly, Carmichael and Beltran meet with colleague Detective Inman to discuss their suspicion that Riley is responsible for these killings. Riley committed a bank heist after the trial and took military-grade weapons from a warehouse before disappearing. Then Carmichael receives a call informing him of Stevens' passing and the discovery of Henderson face down in his pool. They can essentially take this as proof that Riley was involved. Riley kills the 2 men outside a piñata shop before going inside. Riley kills all the individuals inside the building except for Marvin during the ensuing gunfight. Later, when he tells Riley what happened to Garcia, Marvin is slain for telling Riley everything. Garcia plans for his men to lure Riley to a warehouse in order to get rid of her. She discovers a bomb there and runs for cover just as Garcia's men set off the device, destroying the entire structure. Riley escapes through the sewers and obtains a vehicle from someone else so she can pursue the men. She manages to catch up with them, kill them, and then drive to Garcia's house. Before Riley reaches Garcia, she murders the majority of the men in the room. Before she can fire, Garcia's daughter enters the room as she has his gun turned on him. Riley is stabbed in the side by Garcia, who then escapes with his men and daughter. Riley escapes and arrives at Peg's house. She charges in to treat to Peg's injuries after punching her in the face. Riley ties Peg up after reminding her that her spouse left her for someone else. Before leaving Peg there, Riley threatens her and even gets her to pee herself. Inman visits the underprivileged area to carry out her investigation there. One of the men tells her that thanks to the angel watching out for them, crime decreased in the neighborhood. Carmichael then meets the woman there. Carmichael proves himself to be dishonest and shoots Inman dead just as she is about to realize that someone in the police department is informing Garcia. Carmichael and Garcia have a meeting nearby. Riley discovers Inman's body and uses her phone to record a live video that is broadcast on television. Riley calls Carmichael and Garcia out for the scumbags they are as Garcia and his men congregate, and she invites the police and the media to the area. Then Garcia uses a walkie-talkie to summon Riley outside and warns her to come out or he'll kill a young girl from the area. Riley gives up and walks over to Garcia. Just prior to the arrival of the cops, he begins to beat Riley. Garcia shoots him dead believing that Carmichael set him up. Garcia tries to run away, but Riley catches up to him as his men are taken into custody. The police are drawing their guns on her as she points her rifle at him. Riley is urged by Beltran not to shoot Garcia, and he mocks her by joking that she will do more time behind bars than he will. Riley shoots him in the head after saying, "We're not going to prison," and the cops retaliate. Riley escapes, but Beltran claims to know her location. Riley is discovered by the police at Chris and Carly's tomb in the cemetery. As Beltran draws near, she begins to sob. Riley believes she is prepared to pass away there, but Beltran disagrees. Riley is in the hospital, and the news says that although the public views Riley as a brave vigilante, the police say she will be held accountable for her crimes. Riley is freed from her handcuffs and is once more able to flee when Beltran enters her room and hands her a key.